back at the home of champions. Earlier this morning we had the heat races setting us up nicely for the pre-final and the final. And for those who have forgotten, we are giving out the grand final tickets for later on this year, this weekend. And also we are crowning the champion this weekend. All in all, it's an amazing weekend. The weather is still great. It got even better, like I said. Overcast, gone. We now have the sun out. It's great weather here in Genk and at the home of champions, and we are ready to get the pre-finals underway. Let's go, shall we? We're starting with the Minimax and Minimax rookies, and then we have the juniors, the DD2 and the DD2 masters, and the senior max pre-final will be last. We'll have a small pause in between those two, and then we'll go to the finals where we will decide the champions for 2025 for the Belgian Max Challenge. And oh boy, are we excited for that. Earlier on, of course, in the minis, which will be up first for the pre-qualifying. The results, let me actually take them. This is the moment usually, ladies and gentlemen, where, well, let's put it like this. Papers are starting to fly around in the commentary box. You start to lose track of exactly where all the papers are. So at this point, I'll have to find the results for the mini and mini rookies. Anyways, we had quite an exciting race for all of the classes. You're looking at the 131, that is Dejan Habets. It was Mick Klinkers who won the race earlier on, ahead of Leon Herbots. Championship standings in the juniors, of course. Or in the minis, excuse me. It's tight. It was one of the tightest championship battles we had. There we go. I can hear the green flag on my left-hand side here in the timing tower. Drivers leave the pre-grid. And it's time for them to warm up their tires. Alright, here we go then. Mick Klinkers winning the race last time round. He will thus, because of that, start from pole position. Ahead of Leon Herbots in P2. Dejan Habets in P3. Ahead of Laurens van Vlaanderen in P4. Tren van Meelik in P5. Noah Steehouder in P6. Sasha Al-Jabrial in P7. Milo de Kousmaker in P8. Daan Hillen in P9. Julian Janssen in P10, Jesse Moonen in 11th, and Matthias Verreke down in P12. And last on the grid. That's our grid for the pre-final of the mini and mini rookies. First eligible driver for that pre-final ticket is Leon Herbots. And with Mick Klinkers all the way down in 12th in the championship, it's going to have to be a big points overhaul for Mick Klinkers if he wants to win it. But he's certainly doing a good job of giving himself the best chance of doing so. By putting himself on the front row and in pole position for this race. Once again, we look to the marshal, soon to be on your left-hand side coming out of turn 13. Here we go then. Coming out of Cafe Corner, we line up already. Nice and slow this time round. These guys got it going at the first time of asking last time round. Will the marshal on the left-hand side with the yellow flag have to say anything to them? Not this time round. Yeah, he's telling them to slow down at least. Oh, as one of the drivers is already coming in. That's the 110. The 110 of Yesimone is not going to start this race. Trouble, technical trouble before we even get to the start. Into the tram lines, looking at the 5 red lights, they're out. We are underway and racing here at Karting Genk. Who needs a good start? Well, I can tell you who needs a good start. Mick Klinkers and Leon Herbots need a good start. There's that card already out of the race before it even began, and you can see the disappointment. Angry at the card, kicking the card, and rightfully so. Card gives up before you even get to the green flag. And that's never nice. Mick Klinkers in the 104 still leading the way though. And Dejan Habets in the 113. He's now behind him. He started P3. Leon Herbots though is coming back at them. Up the inside goes Dejan Habets. Dejan Habets in the championship, a little further down. Oh, big clash! Big clash there between the two. Hopefully they're both okay. That was a big incident. And a big hit. I think that was also for the 131. That might have been Dejan Habets involved in that. My goodness, big hit that one. And I hope his back is okay. Card up all over him. As it's now Mick Klinkers and Leon Herbots leading the way. These two now at the front. And it was indeed Dejan Habets together with Noah Steyhouder who had that incident. Noah has been able to continue. Dejan Habets is out of this race. Here we go then. Once again, we cross the line with the Mini Max drivers. Still Mick Klinkers at the front. We are looking at the battle between the 154 of Matthias Verreke and Julian Janssen behind him in the 123. Here's Leon Herbots though, who in terms of the championship is doing a good job in his task to secure that ticket. To the grand finals later on this year. As Mick Klinkers is slowly but surely losing that gap to Leon Herbots. Gap comes down from 4/10 to 3.5. These pre-finals, instead of 7 minutes plus 1 lap, 3 minutes have been added. 10 minutes plus 1 lap. And the same will be the case later on for the final, but only for Mini and Mini Rookie. All the other classes will move to a 12-minute race. There's that stricken card on the inside there of Dejan Habets. Looks like Leon Herbots has lost a little again on Mick Klinkers. Leon Herbots sets another fastest lap of the race though. Should I tell you how much he was faster than Mick Klinkers? Exactly 1/1000th of a second. Quicker by absolutely nothing at all. Just that 1/1000th of a second, and that gives him the fastest lap of the race. But crucially, he didn't lose any time on Mick Klinkers ahead. And this lap, however, he's closed up quite a bit. And he might be able to go for a move, you know, into turn one. He decides to stick behind and bide his time for now. But closed up 0.3 of a second almost this lap. 23.7 in the first sector this time round. That in itself was already a 10th quicker than Mick Klinkers. As with 3.5 minutes to go in this race, Leon Herbots is looking to take back that pole that he got this morning and looking to take the lead at the pre-final. Jeff Verbeke and Matthias Verreke both not competing. The only driver that's competing is Matthias Verreke in the 154, and he started 12th in this race. So for Leon Herbots, the task is clear. Get ahead of Mick Klinkers and take the championship lead. 10 points in it between P1 and P3. Jeff Verbeke and Leon Herbots. Only 4 points in it between Matthias Verreke and Leon Herbots. So that's P2 and P3 for you. But first though, biggest task in hand, get past Mick Klinkers, because on this lap, Mick has been able to extend that gap a little bit again. Here we go into turn one. Look at this slipstream doing its thing. Going into turn 7 down the Europa Laan. Coming into Cafe Corner this time round. And once again it looks like Leon Herbots is losing a little on Mick Klinkers. Laurens van Vlaanderen finds himself in P3. Biggest gainer, Matthias Verreke, of course. He's in P6. One look behind from Mick Klinkers. That's all he needs. He might be close here with time as well. Through Cafe Corner they come. 20 seconds left to get the line to make it 2 laps remaining instead of 1. But here we go. Yeah, I think we're going to make it. Just about. We'll see the answer soon. It'll be 2 laps left. There you go. We made it. Mick Klinkers makes it 2 laps left. And that must be a great shot there for the photographer. Top 2 in the race. Separated by less than 0.2 of a second after 10 minutes of racing. Leon Herbot sets the fastest lap of the race. 59.1. It's another 1/10.5 almost quicker than Mick Klinkers up ahead. That 10th that Mick had to work so hard for over the previous 2 laps, taken away in 1. Just 1.5 laps remaining. And Mick Klinkers might well be able to win another race here. If he can keep that 104 ahead of the 198. Defensive from the 104, he knows. There was a point ahead, I think, from Leon Herbots. He knows what's up here. Under no pressure at all from Mick Klinkers in the championship, but he is able to look to the outside. And now with a better run, coming on to the Europalaan. The outside for turn 7, surely not right. No, not this time round. Mick Klinkers keeps P1. There are a couple of opportunities left for the 198 of Leon Herbots. Here they come into Cafe Corner to the grandstand. What a feat it would be to make that overtake there, but it looks like he's not quite close enough. Into the last corner they go. He will settle for a P2. He will take the 50 points. But Mick Klinkers wins another race at the home of champions, and they'll start the final like they did in the pre-final. And after a mega start from Mick Klinkers, he was under pressure for a long while of that. But he's held on. Astonishing drive from Mick Klinkers to deal with the pressure from Leon Herbots for so long. And here we go, here we have the standings. Mick Klinkers ahead of Leon Herbots in P2. Laurens van Vlaanderen P3, Trent van Meelik fourth. Sasha Al-Jabrail in P5, Matthias Verreken in P6. Julian Jansen 7th, Daan Hill in 8th. Milo de Kaasmaker 9th, Dejan Habets 10th. En Noah Stehouder in P11. And well, the only driver not on there is Jesse Mone. But that driver not able to start the race at all. Technical difficulties before we even got to this moment. And you can see as soon as those lights went out, drivers leaving their tram lines. Here, Dejan Habets was still fighting for the lead and even got up into the lead. But moments later, well, this happened. Oh no, what a feat that would be. Look at that. Just T-bone collision. Hope both drivers are okay, but what a tough one that is for Dejan Habets. Let's hope they can get that car repaired. But first of all, let's hope that the drivers are okay. That was a pretty big shunt, that one. And there is Mick Klinkers' defeat of his second win of the day.
Okay.
All right, let's get going then with the juniors, the Max Juniors. Their pre-final, we've already had their first warm-up lap here. So let's quickly get through the grid then for the juniors. They provided us with some awesome racing, let's be honest, earlier on today. So I hope that there will be more of that in this race. Starting grid then, here we go. It is Lars Lambers at the front of the field, Lieke van Boekel on the second row, Jente Mone in third, and Devrim Jetter in P4, Bran van der Wekke in P5, Nicolas Majon in 6th, 7th is Justin Vonk, Vic van Kampenhout in P8, Boris Verhagen in P9, Lionel Minguea in P10, P11 for Liam Hauk, Vince van der Halen in P12, Koen Willems in P13, and Max Sadurski. He'll be looking to come back. He was leading that race for such a long time in the heats. Looking to set himself up quite nicely for the pre-final, but sadly for him, all came to nothing when he got taken out on the start-finish straight, of all places. Right, here we go then, still weaving. Being told to calm down. Driver's taking absolutely all the temperatures they can get into the tire. And here we go then. Let's get to the 5 red lights, into the tram lines. And as soon as the lights go out, we're underway and racing day 2, and we are green, green, green. 242 on the left-hand side, that's Lars Lambers. On the right-hand side, the 285 of Lieke van Boekel. Lieke van Boekel overtaken into turn 1 by the 220 of Jente Mone. Then behind that, it's Devrim Jetter, who's also trying to go past Lieke van Boekel. Or to get past, I should say. The 296 of Bran van der Wekke, P5, he's now up to P4. Also gained the position. And then I think it's the black bumper of the 66, the 266 from Devrim Jetter. Lieke van Boekel losing a place off the start. Championship standings then for these drivers. Most important to keep an eye on is Vince van der Halen. He's down in P12. He's the best placed driver eligible for a ticket. Then it's Lars Lambers. And with Lars Lambers starting in P1 and Vince van der Halen down in 12th, this could be a big points haul for Lars Lambers going into the final later on today. Plus setting him up quite nicely if he can stay here at the front of the field. De Vriemeter has gotten past Bran van der Vekke. And has also gotten past Jente Mone. Boekel down in P4 now. Here comes the 296. Yes, go forwards. That was the signal there. Let's try and work together. Between Jente Mone and Lars Lambers. Down the Europalaan we go once again. No driver yet looking to get their feet wet by stepping into the unknown. Up the inside goes the 296 of Bran van der Vekke. That's a great overtake on Jente Mone. That opens up the gap now to Lars Lambers at the front. Human DRS in use there down the Europalaan. Into turn 7, 8, 9 and 10. 9 and 10. They look like simple corners, but they're quite difficult actually to get right, both of them. Through into the last corner we come again. To complete lap number 3. As there's the warning flag for the 296 of Bran van der Vekke. Ah, great cut back. After a lunge up the inside. Asking what was that to his driver behind. But Lars Lambers stays in P1. Vince van der Halen, where is he at? Vince van der Halen still down in 9th. Up 9 positions, it's Max Sadurski. What can he do in this race? Had to start from the complete back of the grid. But there he is, he's in the battle. The 297 up the inside and he puts himself up into P3 already. Max Sadurski, in 5 minutes time, has put himself from P14 all the way up to P3. And Max Sadurski also still in with a chance of this championship. Not in with a chance for a ticket. Because Max is Dutch. But he could do a big, or he could make a big step towards the championship here. And put himself back in the battle. Max Sadurski from P14 all the way up to P3. And he, well, I can tell you, Lars Lambers looks behind and he'll be like, Max Sadurski, what's he doing here already? A warning flag now also for the number 220. That's Jente Mone. But as he has been for all of the laps, Lars Lambers is still the leader of this race. And he'll be looking to keep it that way. even though shuffling went on behind him, he somehow was never involved in it. But is the 296 now able to go for a move? Yes, he is. And he has to slot in behind. Now, for the first time, we have a lead change. Bran van der Wekke in the 296 in P1 now. And that was at the perfect time. Because look who's behind him now. Here comes Max Sadurski up the inside of Lars Lambers. And he loses 2 positions. He waited and he chose the perfect time, Bran van der Wekke, to drive away from Lars Lambers, knowing that a Max Sadurski was lurking behind. But he's come from P14 and is potentially looking this time round in the turn 1 after 7.5 minutes to put himself up into the lead of this race. Both drivers making the signature, the sign of let's go forwards, let's work together, let's be smart. The fastest lap of the race for Vince van der Halen. 55.835. Up the inside comes the 242. And after having given the lead to Max Sadurski, Lars Lambers now knows what's up. He needs to follow. He needs to stay with Max Sadurski. He can't let him run away with it. But after 9 laps, Max Sadurski finds himself up to P1. And with a margin of about 3/10 already. Let's see what he can do in clean air now, Max Sadurski. We know he has pace. It's just about execution now. But you know, would love that execution even more. Lars Lambers with Vince van der Halen now in P4. Also one of the drivers who didn't have the best races in the heat race, the qualifying heat. In the 228, the closer he gets, the less points he drops to Lars Lambers, which is good for him. Because at the moment it's Vince van der Halen in a position to get the grand finals ticket at the end of the weekend. But we're not quite there yet. First we have to get past the 296 of Bran van der Wekke. Doing his teammates in the 242 a favor here. Both racing the Tony Kart chassis. Look at the speed that Lars Lambers 242 has on the straight compared to Max Sadurski. Slipstream doing its well work there. Gap last time round, just under 0.2 of a second. What is that gap up to now? It's over 0.2 of a second. And he was on his bumper coming down the Europalaan. And with now the final lap board being shown, this could well be the lap where Lars Lambers decides, now is my time. Look at the exit that the 228 got as well. Vince van der Halen. He'll be looking to put himself in front or next to Lars Lambers. Thinking about that grand finals ticket too. This contact between the two. It allows Max Sadurski to drive away. But the battle for the grand finals ticket is behind him. Max Sadurski with a wider line, taking the exit, will win the race from P14. What a feat that is! Incredible drive by Max Sadurski. And Lars Lambers finishing ahead of his rival for that grand finals ticket, Vince van der Halen. but only by 1 position. And that will be 2 points gained to Lars Lumbers. He needs more though. Will be 9 points behind going into the final later on. But what a drive from Max Sadurski. From the back row of the grid, absolutely plumb last the P1. By lap number 9, did it with 3 laps to spare as well. Max Sadurski wins at Lars Lumbers, Vince van der Hane, Brian van der Wekke, Boris Verhagen, Lieke van Boekel. That's your top 6. 7th, Jente Mone, Justin Vonk in 8th, Nicolas Masson in P9, Liam Haug in P10. Vic van Kampenhout in P11, Koen Willemsen 12th, David Mietter in P13 and Lionel Minguia in P14. What a race that was. Look at the background. On the right hand side, the 297 does not gain any positions right off the start. There's contact there between the 220. That's Jente Mone. And the car, I think at that time up her inside was the 209. Phew! That's Junior's done. And again, mega drive from all of them. It was the first time where Lars Lumbers lost the lead of the race.
D'accord, comme Philippe. Ah, pour toi. Merci, François.
One minute. 1 minute.
Right then, up next for the pre-finals is the DD2 and DD2 Masters with Lawrence Herbots, the best driver to grab that ticket, but he's only 1 point ahead of Nicolas Guillem. All to play for coming into this pre-final. And Lawrence Herbots starts directly ahead of Guillem Nicolas. So Nicolas is going to have to watch out. If he drops back, could be catastrophic since Lawrence Herbots is starting at the front of the grid. But the other way around as well, there's immediate threat. As soon as the 5 red lights go on, Lawrence Herbots will be looking behind him, making sure that the 4-4-4 from Nicolas Guillem will find absolutely no way past. Right, here we go then. Starting grid, first row of the grid, Mika van der Paven and Lawrence Herbots. Second row of the grid, Gustav Uzakovs. He had a great race earlier on, and Nicolas Guillem. Nicolas Klaas and Jordi Clairbot on the third row of the grid, 5th and 6th respectively. Ralf van der Paven and Wout Keurschens, 4th row of the grid. Len Nijs and William Norbach on the 5th row of the grid. And Kian de Brand, 6th row of the grid. That's your top 3 in the race for the ticket as well. Righty then, nice and slowly round the final corner. 10 minutes of racing ahead. Into the tram lines. Don't leave the tram lines with any of your wheels. Look at the 5 red lights. They're out. It's a great start actually from the right side of the grid. Mega start. And they are immediately 1, 2 and 3. And that drops Lawrence Herbots and Nicolas Guillem down as well. They'll be in the mid-pack fighting it out between the two of them. Looked like for a moment that the right lane was quite early on that start. But the start marshal deemed it correct. And thus the 5 red lights went out. And across the line, Mika van der Paven P1, Gustav Uzakovs P2, Lawrence Herbots P3. And Nicolas Klaas P4, Len Nijs P5, Nicolas Guillem P6. So he's dropped down quite a bit. Lawrence Herbots though in P3 doing a good job. Trying to extend the lead he has at the moment for that ticket. Championship also still possible. 11 points away for Lawrence Herbots. Len Nijs is leading that one. And he's up 4 on this opening lap. Len Nijs, the 4-4-6. Watch out for that one. He's leading the pack a little bit behind this. Top 3 though, Mika van der Paven, Gustav Uzakovs and Lawrence Herbots. They'll be looking to... Oh, how's up the inside goes Lawrence Herbots, forcing his way past. Letting Gustav Uzakovs know, I'm here and I'm here to fight. I'm not here to sit back. Down the Europa line we go once again. Biggest position loss comes from Wout Kirstjens on that lap. Len Nys up into P4. Up 5 now. And he's soon gonna put himself with that fight for the top 4. There you go, confirmation. Len Nys, fastest lap of the race, 53.967. To come from P9 after a not so ideal qualifying heat. In the meantime though, Mika van der Pavert, second in the championship, he still finds himself in P1. If Mika van der Pavert wins this race, he puts himself level on points with Len Nys if Len Nys finishes P2. Otherwise he goes ahead. Would they be equal on points? It's whoever finishes ahead in the final will take it out of those two. Here he is, the 444. Nicolas Gualin in P5 now. He's also mixed himself in that fight. Laurens Herbot still fighting for P2. But now under pressure as well. From Len Nys behind that, the 446. We're at to come from P9. To the inside, that's a look to attack or to defend. I think a bit of both from Laurens Herbot. Just making sure that Len Nys is not going to make an easy pass on him. Cafe corner. Nope, not quite for the 489. Gustav Uzakovs, who was P2 for quite a while in this race. Here comes the 444 though. Nicolas Gualin needed a bit of time to get back into this race. But now that he's gotten into the groove, times are dropping quickly for him. His last lap of the race, only 300ths away from the fastest lap. Also set in the last lap of the race. Up the inside. Audacious move from Len Nys, but he puts himself in second. And he can now directly see his championship rival ahead of him, Mika van der Pavert. Like I said, if it finishes like this, they're level pegging going into the last race of the season, the last final of the season. And it's whoever finishes ahead of those two takes it. They will further extend their lead on Laurens Herbot as well. But this could be a feisty couple of last laps. With Mika van der Pavert at the front and Len Nys in P2, up 7 positions. Don't forget that, please. That Len Nys is up 7 positions from where he started. Had to start in P9, finds himself in P2 at the moment. Laurens Herbot's down 1. He's now right with his rival for the Grand Finals ticket. Laurens Herbots also ahead in that one. But Nicolas Guillem will look to try and do absolutely everything he can in that 444 to pass the 498 of Laurens Herbots. Oh no, what happened there? Big checkup it looked like. And that dropped Nicolas Guillem down quite a bit. He's now behind William Norbach, who's also up 5. Oh, that's also quite a feat, the Danish driver. Up 5 places. He's up into 5th. And why not more? Here we go then. 3 laps to go. Three more laps to go for Mika van der Pavet. To put himself level pegging with Len Nys. Nicolas Guillem, fastest lap of the race after that setback. That's how to react. Is still in 6th though. But we now know he has the pace. He's behind Norbach. Here we go then, covering the inside for the 489. 4-horse battle this one. For the last spot in the top 3. Laurens Herbots having to cover everywhere. Oh no, it's Gustavs Uzakovs who's covering everywhere. The 489 against the 498. That can get quite confusing. Anyways, Laurens Herbots P4. Nicolas Guillem P6. Can he get to him? The 444 in the background trying to get back up to P5. Overtake the Danish driver of William Norbach. The 428. But he's too far back. At the front though, this final lap has proven to be a good one for Mika van der Pavet. He will put himself level pegging with the man behind him in P2, Len Nys. They'll be level pegging on points. Going into the final later on. And they'll be starting P1 and P2. That could get feisty. Can't wait for it already. Gustavs Uzakovs and Laurens Herbots, 3rd and 4th. But crucially, Laurens staying ahead of Nicolas. Nicolas Guillem finishing only 6th. In the battle for the grand finals ticket. Here's the result then. Mika van der Pavert ahead of Len Nijs. Gustav Uzakovs ahead of Lawrence Herbots. William Norbach in 5th. Nicolas Golem 6th. Nicolas Klaas in 7th. Ralf van der Pavert 8th. Wout Kershens 9th. Jordi Clairbout in P10. And Kian de Brandt in P11. Here we go. Look at the start on the left-hand side though. Boom, lights go out. Yeah, just a better reaction. The 496 just does not get going at all. And look at the jump that gives the 3 on the right-hand side. Left-hand side of the screen for us. Alrighty then, let's get going with our biggest grid in our last pre-final of the day. And that is the Seniors Championship, led there by Davian Roest. Driver second place at the moment on the grid. He will be on the front row together with Mateja Radenkovic. Mateja Radenkovic, first driver eligible for a grand finals ticket. And that's together with Sverre Uben and Robbie Storder in seventh. Those are the drivers looking for grand final tickets that are realistically still in with the chance. Mathematically, still quite a lot of drivers are able to get a grand finals ticket here today. Alright, first 5 rows of the grid then. Let's quickly go through them. Davian Roest and Mateja Radenkovic on the front row of the grid. Mateja Radenkovic taking the pole position. Boaz Maximov and Robbie Storder in the second row. Matthias Kjellrup and Ryan Bourguignon on the third row. Fourth row, Lex Quintens and Cas Boshuis. And fifth row of the grid, Sverre Uben and Dante Sima. There we go then. Let's look at the 5 red lights. Let's see if they go out or if they don't. They do. It's a great start from our front two. Davian Roest dropping back a little bit, opening up the inside for the drivers behind them. And I think it's Boaz Maximov and Mateja Radenkovic who have taken advantage of that. The 3:35 and the 3:99 are now ahead of Davian Roest. Boaz Maximov finds himself quite far down the order in the championship. So for him, these are one-offs, nothing to lose, all to gain. But for Mateja Radenkovic, this is all to lose here. He has a grand finals ticket to lose. And he does not want to lose that. That could also be crucial, setting him up for next year. First lap completed. Mateja Radenkovic stood in the lead by about 0.3 of a second over Boaz Maximov. Davian Roest in P3. That stayed as it was coming out of turn 1. Matthias Kjellrup in 4th, ahead of Robbie Storder in P5. Ryan Bourguignon in 6th, Cas Boshuis in 7th, and Lex Quintens in P8. Oliver Jonkers and Sverre Uben in P9 and 10. Oh, move up the inside of the 3:17. That was a mega lunge from Robbie Storder up the inside of Matthias Kjellrup. Matthias looking for a way back past the turn 1. Can't quite get there though. A 3 Tony car chassis now. Chasing down Mateja Radenkovic. Mateja Radenkovic is opening up himself a nice and handy gap to the 2 behind him. The inside goes Robbie Storder now above on Boaz Maximov. Or at least looking for that move. Davian Roest, the fastest lap of the race. Catching back up to Mateja Radenkovic. This is something that we saw in the qualifying heat as well. These two constantly trading fastest lap times. Absolutely nothing in it. That time round though, 0.2 of a second gained by Davian Roest. They've opened themselves up a second to the guys behind. That's quickly lost though if they start fighting. So they'll have to be smart here. Devian Roest leading the championship. If he's smart, he goes with Matej Radenkovic. But he also knows that winning this race could be even better as the 322 pulls into pit lane. And that's a sad, sad sight for Henry Verloo, who had an outside chance of a ticket. But with this result, that will be nullified. My oh my. Trickling into pit lane slowly for him. Back to the race then, Matej Radenkovic. Oh, there's contact there. Robbie Storder getting impatient now on Boaz Maximov. Knowing that they're losing loads and loads of time to the two in front. Gap now up to 1.5 seconds to the leader and 1.3 to Devian Roest ahead of him for Boaz Maximov. Ryan Bourguignon also still with him. 5th and 6th, he just overtook Matthias Kjellerup, the Danish driver, for 5th place. He's down to 6th now. Now in the gap to Matej Radenkovic and Devian Roest to open up. Devian Roest is staying at a nice distance now from Matej Radenkovic. Knows that putting him under too much pressure also won't help his case. And they're slowly but surely opening up 2 to 3 tenths every lap to Boaz Maximov, who is still in 3rd place. When is Devian Roest saying, okay, now it's enough. I'll bite my chances now. Here he comes then, closing in ever so little on Matej Radenkovic. As here's the battle behind. 4-horse race for P3. Robbie Storder has gotten past Boaz Maximov. Matthias Kjellerup, the only one having to stick behind. What has this done to the time though? Gap up to 1.7 seconds to Devian Roest. Devian Roest did another fastest lap of the race. Will he go for the move? Gap 1.5 tenths of a second. Closer than he's ever been in this race. 3 minutes remaining. But he well knows that they could lose up to a second a lap if they start properly fighting. And he also knows there's no reason to. There'll be a final later on to fight for things as well. Drivers actually dropped down. Biggest gainer in this race is Flynn Fitters. He's up 8 positions. Olivier Jonkers and Miel Hendricks also up 4 positions. Both of them together with Mathis Lismon and Nathan Marichal further down the field. Gap back up to 2.5 tenths of a second. Although, if we look at the lead now, this is for sure not 2.5 tenths of a second. Devian Roest is closed in. Has he saved the best till last? Coming round this time. It's going to be close. We might have 4 to go here. Who knows? We'll see that in a lap's time. Fabian Roos, not the fastest lap of the race. Just keeps putting those laps in. It just doesn't stop. It's relentless. The pressure he's putting on Matej Radenkovic. He loses a little in the middle sector though. But then he gains all of it back through the first and the last. And of course down the long straight. Warning flag for the 360. That's Flynn Fitters. Drivers with the most positions gained. Some of them, the stewards didn't like maybe the way he did it. But didn't necessarily see anything wrong with it immediately. Too close to call for my liking. We'll see if we go to last lap, next lap. Or if there are two remaining. Yeah, for sure two remaining. That's one thing, that's for sure. We're only coming out of Cafe now. And here we go. Turning on to the start-finish straight for the second to last time. Fabian Roos will see the last lap board as well. The question is, he's stuck behind him this whole race. When is Fabian Roos going to say, now is my time? Can he say, now is my time? Will he say? Does he want to say, now's my time? It looks like, to be honest, he's quite happy with his second place, sitting behind Matej Radenkovic. He will lose 3 points in the championship. Matej Radenkovic has his ticket to think about as well. But he could give himself a little extra leeway. But is it worth the risk? I think Fabian Roos has decided it isn't. He'll give it a good go though. If there's an opportunity, he'll go for it. But that opportunity won't arise. And he's on a good way to the ticket. Matej Radenkovic wins the pre-final for the seniors. Fabian Roos finishes P2. And Robbie Storder finishes P3. Boaz Maximov finishes P4, comes back to P4 after having held on to P3 for so long. As there was contact after the finish. That has put the driver sidelined. Coming out of turn 1. But Matej Radenkovic makes another step towards that ticket. Another step away from Robbie Storder. Alright then. Well, that were all the pre-finals. And, well, after these highlights, we'll have about 10 minutes of a break. So not too long, don't go anywhere. Because the racing you've just seen, well, we'll do a repeat of that, but a bit longer for 3 of our 4 series or classes this weekend. We'll go to 12 minutes for both, for all 3 Junior Max, DD2 and DD2 Masters, and Senior Max. And for Mini Max and Mini Max Rookie, we'll stay at 10 minutes plus 1 lap. We'll be back in a bit.